start praying. Yeah.
Take your own time.
No, we will start, sir. Otherwise, we are losing your time, and I think it's not correct on our part to keep Swami waiting than that basic grace time. He probably now is used to the fact that we start only 5 minutes late. So, not something that I'm proud of, but that's what is happening. Let's pray.
Sometimes it does happen.
Yes. We will start, sir. Saira.
ఎంత
साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ Sai Ram and humble pranams to Swami. Thank you, Swami, for making this happen every Sunday. It's probably our lifeline in this COVID to keep holding on to that pillar of faith, which gets reinstilled every time we hear a new lesson coming in his own way to someone unique and most blessed, as he always calls his property. And today, we seem to have someone who has spent literally 4 decades in his physical proximity. So I think that time alone is enough for so much to just go into oneself. You know, if there's this process of absorption, it's absorbed. Now it's the time for us to receive all that has been absorbed. So Brother Thukaram, sir, to most of you who's been your teacher, he's here with us with Swami's grace, and I'm going to get his colleague, class, I'm not sure of classmate part, but colleague for sure, Brother Ravi Shankar, to do the honors of introducing him. So as always, as excited as you are to be part of this every week, Brother Ravi Shankar, over to you. Sai Ram, sir.
Sai Ram to all of you. At the outset, thank you for giving me this opportunity, Venkat. Mr. Thukaram, for all of you, is the most luckiest student of Swami's College. The reason is, he joined Swami's College when Swami started the college in the year 1969 as a student of PUC. And the year after that, I joined him. That was my first year, 1970. I joined him, and we were classmates in BCom, first batch of BCom of Swami's College. From 1970 to 73, we did BCom. And later, of course, he did his master's in Bangalore University, and I did mine in Annamalai University. And again, we rejoined Swami's College in 1975 as lecturers in Swami's College. And before I come to this, Mr. Thukaram was lucky when I said he was born in Whitefield itself. Many of you may not know. And his uncle happens to be Swami's tailor.
Oh, okay.
So Swami's robes dimensions, very few knew, and his uncle happens to be one of them.
Wow.
And he probably stitched hundreds and hundreds of robes of Swami. And Thukaram was born into that family. Imagine. Okay. And regarding devotees who used to come from all parts of India to Whitefield, Brindavan, even from abroad, if they had to give a robe to Swami, they had to contact his uncle, get it stitched through his uncle, and offer it to Swami. So that was those days, And of course, he belongs to that family. So lucky he is. And he did not join the hostel because he was living in Whitefield itself. So he was a day scholar. And due to his pure merit, he became the first student to become a lecturer in Swami's College as a full-timer. And I was a part-timer in the first year. And the year after that, I also became a full-timer. So that way, our journey started as teachers in Satsangh College. And today happens to be a day when all those students, colleagues, friends, non-teaching staff, and people all over who were with us between 1970 and 85 will be seeing us together only today after 35 years. So that I was very happy about that, And Mr. Thukaram, of course, got first class. He got selected. I got second class, so I got selected the year after that. And we had a very, very, very nice understanding within the faculty, in the Department of Commerce. If I was thorough in income tax, he was a master of costing. If I was thorough in PUC accounts, he was a master of PUC commerce. So like that, we complemented each other so well that all the subjects were handled by both of us without any kind of, as you say, we fight for each other's subjects, No such thing. Whichever he wanted, he did. Whichever I wanted, I did. And it was a very, very nice thing between us. 10 years later, and of course, I would say, unfortunately, I had to leave. And he was fortunate to continue in Swami's institution. In 1985, there was an option. So we had to, we were already employees of government. So we didn't want to forego 10 years of service and so on. Whereas he sacrificed all that and continued in Swami's institution. That is a great thing. So that's why I rate him greater than me. If everything is Swami's will, but yet, on the physical plane, I rate him higher than me. I'm honest in this. Of course, in 2010, he retired and became a principal of a private college for about 4 years. Then I think he is now relaxed at home. Very, very sincere, very hardworking, very popular, very humble person in Mr. Thukaram. And the beauty of this satsang, Mr. Venkatesh and the entire team, the beauty of this satsang has been, very unique. Though we have lived for so many years together in Swami's presence, we never had the occasion to share our personal experiences of Swami with each other. I don't know for what reason. And now we are able to do that sharing. And in this process of sharing our experiences, what I have seen week after year for several months now, and I wish it continues forever, is the fact that every brother gives out a unique dimension of Swami's glory when he gives his experiences. That is specialty. No two brothers have given similar things, So we are able to see Swami's glory in umpteen number of dimensions. That's the greatness of Swami. Now we realize Swami's glory much, much more than what we would have realized when we were with him. And our days, myself, Thukaram, we had wonderful days. I think I need not, it's very difficult to express, So we had wonderful time together. And I'm so happy with him. And it's time we all want to listen to Mr. Thukaram's version of his experiences. So I hand over to Mr. Thukaram. Sai Ram.
Sai Ram, sir. Sai Ram.
Om Shri Sai Ram.
Sai Ram, sir.
Om Shri Sai Ram.
Your
brothers
audio.
and sisters. Sairam, Sairam to all of you.
Sairam, sir, we are
I
all
offer my
muted, so we won't speak back unless there is a problem. You keep continuing, because if we are allowed to speak, it will interrupt your speaking. So we are muted. If there is a problem, we will tell you, and then we will address that at that time. So keep.
certainly, certainly. I offer my humble pranams at Swami's divine feet. Today it is my privilege to speak a few words about my experiences and also a few words about Swami's Institute of Higher Learning and the system of education which is followed in Brindavan Campus. Before I could do so, I am extremely thankful to my brother Ravi Shankar for giving me such a wonderful introduction about me. I don't think I deserve all these things, but whatever he has spoken, it is a reality, and I thank him once again. I also thank our alumni organizers for conducting this type of activity, which I felt was in need of it. And I would be speaking towards the end our role in Swami's mission and one direction in which our alumni have moved rightly is in respect of this activity. And I congratulate all these students and brothers to continue this for ever in future also. I begin my talk by saying how I came into contact with Swami and subsequently various experiences which I had during my stay in Brindavan for the last 30 years or so. Swami first came to Nandanvan. It is his first living place or ashram in Karnataka state. He came in the year 1960, and during those days there were not many facilities in Whitefield, and it faced the problem of water, electricity, and such other related problems. Still, Swami continued to live in this locality, and this locality is adjacent to the then Swami's General Hospital at Whitefield. When Swami came to Whitefield, my parents took chance to see. They were not knowing who Swami was. Everybody was going, and many cars were lining on the street. They wanted to just go and see who Swami was. And as they kept on going to his darshan, when during his stay in London one day Swami calls them for an interview. During that time, my father was facing a land dispute problem with an Anglo-Indian in Whitefield. My father rose this topic during the interview and informed Swami about this situation. Swami looked into the matter and subsequently said, in course of time, the problem will get solved and not to worry about this matter at all. In few months' time, the land dispute problem gets solved, and the decision or judgment given was in favor of my father, and we acquired a good piece of land where I live today. As I said earlier, Nandanvan Ashram was not having any facilities, and the problem was an acute problem during years. With the increase in the number of devotees, Swami felt it was desirable to shift his residence to Brindavan. So he shifted the ashram to Brindavan. During those days, Vrindavan being a new ashram, it required a few services in the form of minor repairs, electrical work, plumbing work, carpentry work, and a little bit of tailoring work also. Swami, knowing that we are from local place, entrusted all this work to my father and to see that all this work is got done through my father. And in the process, I also had the opportunity to go into the ashram along with my father, and sometimes right inside the old Brindavan bungalow. Thus my intimacy of going to Swami's darshan increased from time to time. Then during Swami's stay in Brindavan, as I got many opportunities to go right inside his bungalow, after Swami's darshan and after Swami's giving interview to devotees, he used to come to the main hall and speak to elders for a little while. And there used to be one room which they used to call safe room. It was in this room Swami used to sit for long time until he went up for his lunch. During the period of staying in this safe room, he used to give us, the students, plenty of opportunities and to do his Pada Seva, and Swami used to read the letters, and Swami used to inquire matters about the students and their families, and this way Ishta Devata and related matters. We used to get good opportunities to be with Swami's in Swami's company, and that way my attachment towards Swami became more and more. Subsequently, I want to now narrate an experience. During the year 1968, Swami commenced a yoga asana session. He selected about 40 devotees, and most of us were youngsters, and there were middle-aged people also, few of them. And the session used to begin with chanting of Omkars. Swami himself used to teach some slokas. Then it was followed by what we say the pranayama, a meditation session, brief meditation session, and yogasana proper, and it used to end with asatoma prayer. This was the routine, and it used to go on daily until Swami remained in Brindavan ashram. On a particular day, after the yogasana session was over, Swami just took four of us, all aged between 10 to 14 years, and he was moving towards his garden. There he wanted to show some miracles, and he just created out of thin air a copper ring with his image. He showed to all of us and said that where from it has come. And we were not knowing what to answer about it. And we said, Swami created it. Yes, Swami can create anything. And slowly he kept the ring in his hand, and he closed the fist and blew air into it and opened the fist. The ring is not to be seen. Swami asked, where is that ring? And we did not know what to answer. Swami said it vanished. It only conveyed a message to all of us that Swami can create anything. And we were not knowing more about it, accepting that it was something like a magic experience for us. The experience did not stop there. Swami proceeded further. He plucked a small leaf from a coconut palm. He converted that leaf palm into a leaf ring, if I can call or use this word. He converted it into a leaf ring in his own divine way. It exactly resembled to that of a ring, but it is purely made out of a leaf. Swami held the ring in his palm and closed his fist, blew air into it, opened the palm, and it resembled to the same original ring which he had created few minutes ago. And Swami asked where from it has come. We were not knowing what to say. We kept quiet. And Swami said, it is a conversion process. I can convert anything, one thing from another thing, and it is within my reach. And it did not stop there. Swami gave that leaf ring to my cousin, who was also one of the participants, and asked him to bring the leaf ring the following day. And on the following day, After the yoga session was over, Swami took four of us again and he asked for the leaf ring. My cousin gave the ring to Swami, leaf ring, and Swami held it in his palm and closed the fist, blew air, and it vanished. It was something like a magic experience for all of us. And immediately, Swami reconverted the same thing into a ring. And this process of conversion of a ring and its vanishing again, converting into a leaf ring, from leaf ring to original ring, the process went on for quite some time. I was amazed. This was my first experience of witnessing Swami performing the miracles, and this miracle made me to believe that Swami is not ordinary and he must be an extraordinary divine personality. From that day, my visit to Brindavan Ashram slowly increased. I just wanted to consider and say yet another experience during the Yogasana session. Out of many asanas taught under Swami's supervision, one such asana was Shirasasana, which was somewhat difficult to perform by few of us. And I miserably failed in performing this asana. And here I wanted to say, Swami is a perfect guru. He doesn't leave anything to chance. When he has taken up any task, he will perform it to the best. And he himself can be called as a perfect guru. Here, a perfect yoga guru. After all the yoga session was over, every day, he used to take three of us inside his interview room, and there he used to teach us the yoga, this Shirasasana personally. I'm very sad to say one aspect in this connection. As we were performing this asana, we used to lose the balance as it happened during the main session. Swami used to hold the legs to make us perform the asana very well. I want to just say this information, which I may not be correct. When the whole world craves to touch Swami's feet, Swami is here to hold the legs of his failed students, miserably failed students, to teach them the Shirasasana. And I want to say that Swami is a perfect guru. He will not leave anything to chance. He wants everybody to learn. And the purpose of starting the session, Swami wanted to make it as a perfect session. And from that day onwards, our visit to Brindavan became still more frequent. Now I will just tell you a experience which happened in the year 1969. Actually, my mother was somewhat worried person about me as to my future. Fortunately, I joined Sri Satsangh College, as my brother Ravi Shankar introduced, in the year 1969 as one of the students in the pre-university course. I was aged 15 years then. Swami called my parents for an interview in that year, and Swami was guarding them, and giving them advice as to how to lead a good life. Subsequently, my mother just rose this topic and her anguish about me. And Swami, she said, she is very much worried about me, and Swami should help me in this regard. Swami said in Telugu, "Why are you worried about your son? I am here to take care of him. After he completes his education, I will take him into my college as a lecturer. And I am a student of 15 years age. And when will I complete my post graduation? When will I join Swami's college? I never knew anything about it, nor I thought anything about it. But Swami has planned my future, and he said almost 8 9 years before appointment that he would take me into his college as a lecturer. Subsequently, I wanted to say how this Swami's word became a reality in a few moments from now later. Okay, after completing the pre-university course, the course was a tough course because our college was established in a rural setup. There were many rural students. The results were not encouraging. Swami was upset with the results. Very few students got through the pre-university course. Fortunately, I was one of the successful students. Then after announcement of the results, Swami inquires from my father as to what I will do next. Actually, I had chosen science combination in my PUC, but unfortunately, in that year 1970, there was no BSc course in our college, and instead they had opened only BCom course. Swami knows everything about all people, and I had chosen science combination. How Swami came to know about this science combination, and Swami knew that BSc course is not offered, only BCom course is offered. And he inquires from my father what I would do next. My father, not knowing much about the courses and the specialization, said Swami wants to study in your college. But Swami said, there is no BSc course, he is a science student. How can he study in our college? And this type of conversations took place for quite some time. And Swami, out of his immense mercy, finally said, let him choose BCom course and study in my college. And this is how I came into the commerce course from a science course, not knowing the meaning of commerce then. I want to say what right decision Swami took about me then by saying these words. If at all, if I have prospered in my life today, it is because of choosing this course which Swami himself suggested and which Swami himself chose for me. And this course really helped me throughout my career and throughout my life. I now wanted to say Swami's blessings in getting admission to an MCom course. Myself and Ravi Shankar, we studied together in the BCom course, as he mentioned a little while ago. And both of us got through with good percentage. And I wanted to study MCom because Swami had already assured me that he will give me a lecturer's job in his college. And the minimum qualification required to become a lecturer during those years was a postgraduate degree, MCom, MA, MSc, whatever. And I wanted to study in MCom course. But getting admission into MCom course during those years was very difficult because only one college, the university college, alone offered the postgraduate courses. And there was a stiff competition. Many students applied for the course, and everybody was doubting whether they will get a seat or not. Before applying for the course, I just wanted to take Swami's blessings on the admission forum. It was year 1973. Summer course was going on in Brindavan. I too was a participant in the summer course, and I thought I could take a chance in getting Swami's blessings during his visits to the summer class venue. I tried by sitting in different places, but Swami never came to that place where I sat for getting his blessings. Last date for submitting the application form was nearing, and I was panicking what to do. But without Swami's blessings, I did not want to submit the application form. So I foolishly decided to sit in the darshan line of devotees, thinking that at least there I may succeed in getting Swami's blessings on that admission form. But he never came anywhere near me. I felt I have violated Swami's discipline of not attending the summer course and coming and sitting in the darshan line for getting his blessings. I tried once again to take his blessings by attending submitting the summer course class. On a particular day, the penultimate day of submitting the application form, I chose a row in the middle and on the entrance side where Swami generally used to enter the summer class venue, and fortunately he entered in that side and came near that row where I was sitting. I was intensely praying for Swami's grace. He came right up to that row where I was sitting. I gently held the application form without distracting others. Swami came nearer me, touched the application form, and he returned back. He did not proceed further. I felt he has come only to bless that admission form because he did not proceed further. He returned back. I felt Swami has blessed the form. The same day, I took a chance to go to city and submit the application form to the university office. Very soon, I came to know that I was selected for the M.Com course, and I continued my education in Bangalore University for the M.Com. After M.Com results were announced, now I was waiting for Swami's instruction, and he had already assured me what he has planned for me, but how to approach Swami and what to do. It was the year 1975, and on a certain day, only two of us were present in old Brindavan, myself and Dr. S. Bhagavantam. And Swami came down from upstairs. He was talking to Bhagavantam in general. Slowly he changed the topic. The topic of discussion then moved on towards a job interview. Swami asked Dr. Bhagavantam the procedure which is normally followed in a job interview. Dr. Bhagavantam kept on answering that the general procedure followed in an interview, and Swami slowly moved on to another subtopic. What type of answers the interview committee will expect from a candidate? And Bhagavantam kept on answering, Swami, we don't need a detailed explanation. We just need a brief answer to the point. There won't be much time in the interview. So many candidates will appear. And he was giving a broad guidelines as to how to appear in an interview and how to answer to certain questions. I did not realize at that time that Swami is indirectly conducting a training program for me to face an interview which is going to be held shortly. Okay, there was a vacancy in Sri Satsangh College for a lecturers in commerce, and the advertisement appeared in the newspaper Deccan Herald, and I applied for the post. I was called for an interview, and I was ready to attend an interview. As I stepped into the interview room, I see Dr. Bhagavantam sitting in the middle, being the chairman of the interview committee. I was surprised to see Dr. Bhagavantam as a chairman of the interview committee. He started asking questions in the beginning, and later on other members started asking questions about the subject in general, and so many questions were asked. It lasted for a little more than 10 minutes. I remembered the guidelines which Dr. Bhagavantam spoke in front of Swami on that day, and I kept on answering based on the guidelines which he gave to me. The entire interview process was over, and later on I got selected for the post. And this is how Swami trained me indirectly without telling me that I have to be ready and how to face an interview. He gave me through Bhagavantam the guidelines to appear in an interview and to answer to the interview questions. Okay. Now I want to say a few experiences about how Swami helped me and how he saved my life, at least on one important occasion. Okay, it was the year 1978. Summer course was taking place in Ooty, and I could not take part in the summer course. Actually, two of us were allotted the stock verification work of the college property during that year. Stock verification work. Myself and one colleague of mine, we were assigned this task. And on a particular day, around 3 o'clock, Swami was talking in general at Ooty about staff members. And Swami was inquiring about all the staff members' attendance, and he referred to me also, and my inability to attend the summer course, my method of teaching in the college, and he was talking in general about me. On that same day, after completing the stock verification work, myself and my colleague, we were returning back home on bicycles. The road was narrow, traffic was also less, and therefore I did not focus on the road. I was talking to this colleague, and we were both talking to each other and riding the bicycle. All of a sudden, a lorry with great speed approached and began horning, and out of fear, I lost control over the bicycle. The bicycle fell on the middle of the road, and I was thrown away out of the road. It would have been a deadly accident if Swami's grace were not to be there on me on that day. Somehow I went back home, and I felt that I should send a telegram to Swami for having saved my life on that day. The telegram promptly reached Swami within no time, and holding the telegram, he says, "Just now we were talking about him, and here is a telegram which he has sent saying that Swami has saved his life. And when I spoke about him, I could foresee some problem which he would face sooner, and I saved his life." This is what Swami said to those who were present during the summer course on that day. Later on, those who were present, Professor Nanjundaya and others, they tell me all these experiences, and Swami acknowledged your telegram, and he was sharing your problems with him. And this is how Swami saved my life for the first time. I just wanted to say now something about an impossible task which Swami made it possible for me. After joining as a lecturer, in the very first year itself, some subjects were allotted to me. There was one particular subject, an interdisciplinary subject by the title Factory Administration. And some of my colleagues, my own senior teachers, they refused to take this subject because there was no single book available on this particular subject. It is a multidisciplinary subject involving few chapters from production management, a few from human resource management, a few from materials management, a few from financial management, a few from accounting and related subjects. And yes, there was no single book available during those years about this particular subject, and most of the teachers refused to accept this subject. And finally, it came to me, the subject was allotted to me. I accepted this subject, and by referring to some books, I started preparing a detailed study material, and I started teaching this subject. As the study material was not available, a single book was not available covering all the syllabus, my students felt and suggested me that I should write a book on this particular subject because it will be useful for the future batch of students of our own college and to the students and teachers of other affiliated colleges. I was hesitating whether I will be really competent to do this work, but on their insistence, I started writing a book on this particular subject. It took almost 1.5 years for me to complete the book, and I contacted a publisher in Mumbai. He readily agreed to publish the book, and I sent the manuscript. In the meanwhile, the Bangalore University revised the syllabus. It removed the subject of factory administration and it put some other subject in its place. The publisher came to know about this change in the syllabus and he flatly refused, declined to publish the book. I started praying to Swami. I had put 1.5 years of hard work in writing of this book, and this is going to become a waste material now. Started praying to him more intensely to somehow see that this book comes in one shape or the other. In about 2 months' time, I received a letter from the same publisher. He says there is a related subject by the title Industrial Management. But this subject is meant not for commerce students, but it is for an engineering course, mechanical engineering, industrial production engineering. They had this subject of industrial management. And the subject was also a compulsory subject for all the branches of diploma courses then. He sent the syllabus of all these engineering courses and he wanted me to rearrange the topics. 80 to 90% of the topics were same, but 10% varied. He requested me to write these 10% additional chapters and send the manuscript. I sent the manuscript after including this 10% syllabus, and the publisher takes up the work and publishes the book. It became one of the best selling books during those times. What I thought was an impossible task then, Swami made it as possible, and that gave me further encouragement to write some other books. And even now, the book is running under many editions. I am thankful to Swami for encouraging me and blessing me to complete this venture. Now I will move on to an experience where Swami blesses me to undergo a surgery. In the year 2009, I was called for an interview to attend a board of studies meeting at Prashanti Nilayam, and I reached Prashanti Nilayam the previous day. After reaching the ashram, I felt somewhat exhausted and I felt it was going to the journey and I rested for a little while. But I did not become all right. Next day I had to attend the meeting and I'm not comfortable this evening. So I thought it is better I go to Satsangh General Hospital at Prashanti Nilayam and try to get some treatment so that I can attend the meeting the following day. I went to the hospital at about 7:30 in the evening and the duty doctor examined me from various angles and finally came to a conclusion that it is a problem related to hernia. He gave me some first aid treatment, a few tablets, and he said after going back to Brindavan, he suggested that I contact doctors at Brindavan Hospital and take the appropriate treatment. After coming back from Prashanti Nilayam, I wanted to consult the doctors in General Hospital. Dr. Ram Kumar was the physician then. He continues even now in our super specialty hospital. He examined and he promptly diagnosed it as a hernia problem and he suggested that a surgery is to be conducted. And doctors fixed the date of surgery. But before this was to take place, I requested our registrar to convey the matter to Swami and obtain his permission for this surgery. Dr. Lakshmi Narasimhan was the registrar then. He promptly conveyed the message to Swami. Swami blessed the surgery and informed me that it should be undergone without further delay. The doctors performed the surgery. The institute was kind enough to grant me 1 month's leave with full pay. 1 month's leave with full pay, which normally doesn't happen in our institute. They won't grant a leave for longer time, and they won't also pay during the period of leave time. And in my case, this was possible. The operation was conducted successfully, and within 1 month, I recovered and I started taking my classes regularly. This all happened because of Swami's grace. Yeah, second surgery and Swami's blessings. This happened last year. I attended Shivratri Bhajan at Brindavan, and at about 8 o'clock night, I wanted to return back home. On the way, I felt very uneasy to walk further, and I stood for a little while, and I could not proceed further. I felt very uncomfortable, but it was night. It was not possible to convey to anybody. I somehow managed to reach home with some pain. The following day, I thought I should consult a doctor to get some suggestion and what could be done for this problem. I contacted and consulted a local physician in Whitefield, and based on the symptoms which I gave, he said to himself that it must be a problem related to the cardiology. He wanted me to take an ECG test and show him the result. I went to a nearby diagnostic center and took the ECG test, and it showed an abnormal result. The doctor saw the abnormal result and he said it has to be consulted to a cardiologist, and this is a serious problem. In 2 days of time, I visited super specialty hospital cardiology department. There, they conducted 5 tests on the same day. Conducting 5 tests on the same day is not at all possible, and the past trend shows to conduct a test, it requires some kind of time. It requires some time, and they will fix the test dates based upon the past records and the seriousness of the problem and the pending cases. But in my case, 5 tests were conducted on the same day, and they came to know that there were 5 blockages in the blood vessels, and the surgeon immediately said that this is a serious case and how I could manage to walk with this difficulty. And they wanted me to undergo a surgery, and they asked me whether I'm ready. I said I'm always ready, and if Swami wills, it should be performed. The doctors fixed the day. Within 3 days of admission into the hospital, they conduct the open heart surgery, and after retaining me for 4 days, they discharged me from the hospital, and now I have recovered fully and speaking to all of you here from Whitefield. Okay, I just want to speak little bit about my dream experiences. See, many people say dreams are only an imagination and it is a reflection of our own thoughts and our own ideas. But whenever Swami appears in the dream, I don't believe so. And unless Swami wills, he won't appear in the dream. And I had dreamt few such dreams from the beginning, wherein Swami has instructed me on some occasions, and he simply gave darshan and namaskarams in some other dreams. One such set of dreams were during the period of early 60s when Swami used to come to Nandanvan and Brindavan ashrams. The day on which he would arrive to Brindavan ashram, he would appear in the dream. That was an indication that I shouldn't go anywhere and I should come to Swami's darshan. It happened not once or twice. I just observed for few times whether when Swami appears in a particular dream and when he was not at Brindavan, whether he will really come to Brindavan the same day. I wanted to verify this fact. And in all my cases, whenever Swami was at Prashanthi Nilayam and whenever he was to arrive at Brindavan, the same day I used to get a dream. And I thought this is an indication given by Swami that he would come to Whitefield. And I used to alert all other family members, Swami will definitely come to Brindavan today. We must be ready to go. This is my first dream experiences during the earlier days. The other experience of dreams is on the day of my promotion. After rendering minimum years of service, it was the time to promote the teachers. And it was a double promotion for me from assistant lecturer to senior lecturer and to associate professor. But there was a UGC rule before promoting the teachers, they should conduct a promotion interview and then only the concerned person can be promoted. I was called for a promotion interview. One external member of the interview committee kept on asking tough questions to me, and I managed to answer satisfactorily. And after the interview was over, still I was doubtful with this type of questions. What would be the understanding of the interview committee? Whether I will be really promoted for this position. Swami appears in my dream on the same day of the interview and he says, not to worry about the promotion. The interview committee has approved my promotion. I was appointed from the assistant professor graded to senior professor and on the same day from senior professor graded to associate professor grade. And this is how Swami blessed me in getting my promotion. The other dream which I dreamt is a saddening one, and this happened on the day when Swami left his mortal coils on the Mahasamadhi day. Okay, on the day of attaining Mahasamadhi by Swami, in the morning at about around 4:30 a.m., I see him in a dream and Swami is silent, there is no speech. He simply appeared in the dream, and we all knew he was in hospital and his health was not in good condition. That much we knew, but more about it we were not knowing. He appeared in the dream, maybe to convey that that was the last day of his physical existence in this world. I did not understand much about it. The dream vanished. I get up in the morning with some kind of dissatisfaction. At about 7:30, we came to know that Swami is no more. I reflected why I got a dream on that day, and I then concluded that Swami wanted to convey that was the last dream which I could dream when he was in the physical form. And I thanked Swami, at least he has appeared in my dream on the last day of his living in this earth, on this earth. And this was one such dream, which was very rare type of dreams which I had seen. Yet another dream I dreamt was during the day of conducting the open heart surgery to me. I was panicking on the day of open heart surgery. I had heard about the open heart surgery, and it is a risky operation. Outside hospitals they conduct, but they won't give the guarantee. But now I'm in Swami's super specialty hospital, and I know nothing will happen to me. Same night, Swami appears in my dream, and he says that operation is fixed and it is going to be conducted tomorrow. You need not worry anything about your health, and they will conduct the operation successfully, and you will be cured of this problem. Accordingly, they performed the open heart surgery the following day, and again I regained my health, and today I'm again speaking to you on this occasion. This is a third time dream which Swami gives me some kind of solace and assurance about my own living here on this earth. Now, I just want to say a few experiences about some of my family members and how Swami blessed all other family members from time to time. One such experience I want to narrate is relating to my sister's marriage. It was the year 1975, and alliance came for my sister's marriage. Swami took the alliance, my father took the alliance to Swami, and my father wanted to get the approval from Swami before he could proceed further. Swami said the alliance was a good alliance, and he signaled us to proceed further. My father prayed Swami that he should perform the marriage. Swami should perform the marriage. Is it possible? Swami was just testing to know the patience of my father. Yes, Swami, you can definitely perform it, and it is possible for Swami to perform the marriage. Swami said, "Okay, I will do it." He fixed that day. He fixed that date and gave necessary instructions to the then caretaker of Brindavan, Mr. Ramabrahmam Garu. All arrangements were taking place in Brindavan, but Swami's arrival was not there, and everybody was doubting whether Swami will really come from Prashanti Nilayam to perform this wedding. The family being an ordinary family, but will he really come from Prashanti Nilayam to perform the marriage? This was the doubt which everybody was having in their minds. Swami promptly arrives on the previous day of the wedding. The following day, Swami performs the marriage of my sister by creating a Mangala Sutram, and besides performing the marriage, he arranges for a grand wedding feast too at his expense. I don't think normally it happens with everybody, but Swami blessed my parents in this regard. So this is one wonderful favor which we receive from Swami, and we can never forget this experience. The second member of the family who benefited from Swami was my younger brother. My younger brother also studied in Swami's college, but he could not continue with his higher education. And he got an opportunity to serve one of Swami's devotees near Bangalore. The distance was far off. He used to travel up and down, and my father felt it was not a good opportunity and a good scope to continue further. He thought of some alternative. During those years, there was no medical shop in Whitefield, and he thought by starting a medical shop in Whitefield, my father felt that he may get self-employment, and at the same time, Swami's general hospital was also started during that time. he can be of some use to the hospital too in supplying the medicines. Swami approaches, my father approaches Swami and puts this proposal before Swami as to starting of a medical store in Whitefield. Swami readily agrees. Yes, yes, we need this service. There is no facility in Whitefield to buy medicines. You can start this shop. And Swami names the shop as Sai Medical Stores. You give this name and the shop will prosper. The shop prospered for long time, for about 30 years, and today in its place a very good commercial complex has come up. That is how Swami helped my brother in continuing his living. I want to say an experience where Swami blessed my father by creating a diamond ring. It was the year 1970. My father happened to be the chairman of the Whitefield Village Panchayat. During the year 1970, the then government of Mysore sanctioned a big plot of land to the Whitefield Village Panchayat to be converted into sites and distributed to the landless poor people. As many as 1,500 sites were made. My father got an idea. If he could allot 500 sites to Swami's state trust, they can build cottages and provide accommodation to Swami's devotees during Swami's stay at Brindavan. And with this idea, he approached Swami and took the map of that sanctioned area. Swami heard the proposal, but immediately he said, your idea of providing this land, allotting this land to trust is okay, but this land is meant for poor landless people. Therefore, we cannot accept this proposal and it should be distributed to poor people. He creates a diamond ring instantaneously and puts into the finger of my father because of his good gesture of allotting some sites to Swami, which he flatly refused. So Swami will always think from poor people's point of view. Swami will never think of anything from his point of view. He always serves poor people. He doesn't expect anything for himself. This is what I experienced from this interview. Having spoken so much, now I will spend little time to speak about the Satyasai system of education, having taught there for almost 3 decades. Swami started many schools and colleges to provide education at a free of cost to his students. But Swami at the same time knew the existing system of education everywhere is not a good system of education and it had its own defectives. And Swami said the existing system of education is only information oriented education but not transformation oriented education. He wanted to provide character based education. Very often he has said the modern education system is profit centered education and business centered education, but not providing quality education which is required for the modern times. So, Swami introduced the concept of educare, not education. And what is this educare, which replaces the traditional system of education and what I call Satyasai system of education? According to Swami, educare is a combination of or a mixture of the traditional imparting of the worldly knowledge coupled with the moral and spiritual education. And he insists that human beings should develop and improve the character from animality to humanity, from humanity to divinity. This is the purpose of starting educational institutions by him. And through educare system, he wants to promote the human values, as he says, Satya Dharma, Shanti Prema, and Ahimsa. The educare system has an impact over our institutes' educational system. And we call, as most of our students know, it is an integrated system of education. And under integrated system of education, Swami expects the offering of the worldly knowledge coupled with the spiritual and moral values. Some of the components which promote these values in our institute are offering of self-reliance program. Swami feels every individual should become a self-reliant person. He shouldn't depend on others for smaller helps. Recognizing this, the institute under its curriculum has a program called as self-reliance program, where students learn various skills relating to minor repairs, plumbing work, electrical work, mic arrangements during the times of festivals, and running a cooperative stores for the benefit of the students, and such other related activities. It is now an integral part of our institute's education system. The other aspect of Satyasai system of education is an awareness course. As I mentioned earlier, Swami wants to promote human values. Under awareness course, the students are exposed to the various teachings of Swami, great religions, unity of religions, and teachings of various scriptures of our country, Upanishads, and related subjects. So, apart from learning the subjects, worldly subjects, our students also learn awareness courses of these human values. The third aspect is regarding the moral class. Again, Swami wants to recollect moral values frequently, and the institute curriculum has allotted 1 week every Thursday to conduct moral classes wherein scholars are invited, experts, scholars, experienced people are invited to speak on various aspects of Indian culture, religion, and such other aspects. The next component is the games and sports, which is an integral part of the institute. Students have to compulsorily take part in the sports and games to get recharged from the studies. And the institute has got very good playgrounds both at Brindavan and at Shanti Nilayam, including an outstanding indoor stadium where they can play various types of games and sports. Yet another aspect is what we call conducting of summer courses in Swami's institutions. It is an annual feature of the institute, and it all started in the year 1972. Till today, it continues in the institute. And in the summer course, students speak, teachers speak, and in some cases, even experts also speak. And in this way, students are exposed to various aspects of Indian culture and spirituality during this summer course. Grama Seva is yet another important activity which Swami gives importance. And for the last few decades, Swami has assigned this Grama Seva task to students, wherein our students go to all villages in and around Prashanti Nilayam and in offering food prasadam and clothes to all the families of the villagers. And this practice is continuing even today. And in this way, the institute doesn't confine only to the curricular activities. It combines co-curricular activities, extracurricular activities, and it integrates various other aspects which are helpful in developing the overall personality of a student. And by the time he leaves the institute portal, he becomes a total personality ready to face challenges in the outside world. Now, what is the impact of these human values in education program? Seeing the success of human values in education programs, the educational institutions of various countries, they have come forward to implement these human value programs in their own educational institutions, especially in schools and high schools and in uh, primary schools. Any number of conferences, seminars, symposia, they have been organized from time to time to implement this human values series courses in their educational institutions. And the parents, the educationists, government officials, they all encourage this aspect of human values in educational institutions. And that way Swami wants to encourage practice of human values not only at our institute and at our schools, but also in the schools of other countries and considering the whole universe. Now, I just spent a very little time about the achievement of our Sai students. Having undergone the training in our college for 3 years, 5 years, whatever may be the case, our students have acquired wholesome personality, and when they go outside they meet all possible challenges because of the human values which they have learned. Many students who studied in our colleges, they have occupied prominent positions, higher positions in various organizations and establishments. Most of you being alumni, you should be knowing, and you yourselves have occupied such prominent positions. I need not to say more about it. But definitely and certainly, there are many students who have occupied prominent positions in various organizations, having studied in our organizations. Many have become doctors, many have become lawyers, many have become accountants, many have become managers, and whatnot. And in this way, they have definitely assumed positions of importance in many establishments. All this is because of what they what knowledge they acquired in our institute and how the institute educational programs shaped their lives. Then I wanted to say very few words about Swami's divine mission, though all of you know it, but still I want to say little about this mission and Swami's divine wishes. See, Swami is capable of doing anything in this universe. I just want to say three simple requirements of Mother Ishwarama and how Swami provided magnanimous aspects to solve the problems of Mother Ishwarama. At one time, she prayed Swami to start a small middle school as it was not there in Prashantinilayam during those days. The children of Puttapatti village, they had to travel long distance to attend a school, whether it was Bukkapatnam or Kottacheruvu. Swami, in course of time, not only started a middle school, he established Sri Satsangh Institute of Higher Learning and a big deemed to be university within a short span of 50 years of his existence. Mother Ishwarama then prayed Swami to start an hospital in Puttaparthi village as it was not available during those years in the village. Swami not only blessed to start a Satyasai General Hospital, but he also blessed to start a super specialty hospital not only at Prashanti Nilayam but also at Whitefield Now it is started in other states of India also. The third prayer of Mother Isharamma to Swami was to dig a well, as there was water problem in the village during those days. Today we see a big water project not only serving Puttaparthi village, Prashanti Nilayam Ashram, but 700 villages of Anantapur district. We pray something tiny to Swami. Swami provides all the facilities in a magnificent manner, and his mission, it is very difficult to understand. Once Swami made a mention, don't try to understand my divinity. Instead, try to experience my divinity. You will benefit therefrom. And to experience such divinity is our privilege. We experienced during his earthly sojourn, and even now we are experiencing through dreams. And we are fortunate enough to experience such uh, divine experiences from Swami. Finally, I want to say what is our role in connection with Swami's mission. Having gained so much of benefits and favors in the capacity of students and also in other respects, as I mentioned, how all my family members benefited from Swami and how we received various favors and blessings from time to time. Similar should be the experiences with most of the families. My brother Ravi Shankar, while introducing, spoke one aspect. He said experiences of Swami are unique to each person. Indeed, it is true. The experiences which one person experienced, it is not the same to other person. Each individual's experience are unique. Having experienced all such divine miracles, what is our role? I just wanted to say we have to continue Swami's legacy, continue his mission. The alumni who are living in Singapore for the time being presently, they have undertaken this task of running Samarpan course. It all started, as I came to know, as a small study circle meeting. Later on, they felt, why not have this Samarpan courses or Samarpan talks every week? And they have moved in the right direction. And by listening to such experiences and by sharing such experiences, our faith in Swami intensifies. Not only we benefit, we also give the benefit of our experiences to our younger generation who would not have seen Swami and who would not have spoken to Swami. And I would reiterate that it is our role to continue with Swami's legacy, and whatever that is possible from our side, we must contribute to Swami's mission in our own humble ways, which are possible within our reach. I just wanted to conclude my talk by advising my younger brothers who would not have come to Swami's Institute, who would not have learned in Swami's Institute. There is no need to come and study in Swami's Institute. Wherever we stay, wherever we study, if we can think of Swami and pray for his blessings, he will definitely bless us, he will definitely direct us in the right direction. What we need today is utmost faith in Swami and an urge to seek his Swami's blessings. If this is ensured, Swami will definitely take care of us and he will help us in all possible ways. With these few words, I conclude this Samarpan talk of today and thank our organizers for giving this opportunity on this day. Thank you, Sairam, to all of you. Jai Sai Ram.
Sai Ram.
Ram, sir. Can't have an immaculately packed session. I'm in tears. Almost, as I said, I have implicit faith that every week the satsang does have extremely customized messages, as it is when Swami is looking in one direction where he's actually looking at multitudes and not one. I do not know what to say. The last part, especially on educare and the role and the faith, it is absolutely deep. And you've put it so simply, sir, just as any professor would do. Simplify things. Nothing is complicated. Get down to the basics. And I can't tell you how grateful we are for having all of you every week, carrying us through in this journey of holding on to faith and building that faith. I think it's both of it. So I'm just going to open the floor. I'm sure all of you have got those emotions listening to it. Please feel free. Let's have our usual interactions, because that is also a lovely way of reminiscing. So turn on your videos, see one another. Let's sit back in our comforts of our homes, reminisce on that infinite love that keeps coming, whether it's in the physical form or as it is now, where it's getting deeper and deeper into each one of us. So open to the floor. Any one of you.
It would be wonderful if all of you can turn on your videos. I'm sure some of the Brindavan 97 group that is here, sir will recognize. And it is indeed a blessing to have a lot of our teachers. As I've said, we have had about 3 generations of teachers and students here in this program, and I can't ask for more. So kindly turn on your videos if you can, and it would be good for us to address.
Now, I want either Brother Ravi Shankar or Brother Thukaram to, tell us a bit about Professor Narendra, the principal.
May I take the privilege of speaking about Professor Narendra?
Please.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Professor Professor Narendra was one of the excellent professors who was teaching in Madras University during those years. Before he joined our college, there was another professor who was working in Bangalore University, and he was preferred by Swami at the instance of Dr. Gokak, the first vice chancellor of our university. Swami recommended his name, and he became the principal of the college. Unfortunately, he was a Kannada professor, and most of his meetings and talks were in Kannada language. But unfortunately, he could not reach in English language to the students and teachers. And our college, being a college which were attended to by students from all over India during those days, they could not understand more of Kannada language. And Swami was informed about this problem. Then Swami was thinking as to who could be the next principal and who could be appointed as the next principal. There was one devotee of Swami who later on became the convener of Sri Satsangh College Arts and Science Commerce at Bangalore, Dr. M.B. Sundar Rao. And Sri Narendra happened to be his son-in-law. He suggested Swami about this person who could be appointed as the principal of the college. Swami approved his appointment, and he was asked to come and join the college as principal. Professor Narendra was a highly educated and a gentleman type. Once my own brother Ravi Shankar told me about Narendra. Dr. Professor Narendra was not only well versed in Indian politics, he was very well versed with the world politics. Whichever country you point out, Professor Narendra would speak about the political aspects of that particular country. He was a highly knowledgeable person, a highly simplistic person, a dramatist. He wrote many dramas and he was also a good professor in teaching. He continued as a principal for quite a long time, but unfortunately, when the institute was formed, he was not able to continue because of his bad health. He had a heart problem because when the institute was formed, most of the teachers and most of the students, why most of the students, 90% of the students, they left, they wanted the transfer certificate to be issued. In fact, they demanded him to issue the transfer certificate. They didn't want to continue in the institute. And so also, all the faculty members, they wanted to take a transfer and join the Bangalore University colleges. So Dr. Narendra was very much worried. If all the students and teachers leave, what will happen to college? He was a worried man during that period. And people say because of this problem, he was unwell and he was admitted into the hospital, city hospital. On one occasion, Swami himself said he visited the hospital where Professor Narendra was admitted in his own unseen form and inquired Narendra's health, gave advice, and later on he was in the hospital for further treatment. Unfortunately, Professor Narendra could not continue further. His health deteriorated and he was no more on a certain day. Recognizing his services to Swami's college, Swami said he has to be cremated at Prashanti Nilayam under his guidance and supervision. Such was the extent of service which Professor Narendra rendered to the college. Swami wanted his body to be cremated in Prashanti Nilayam. And finally, Swami told to his relatives that that was the last birth for Professor Narendra and he has attained Swami and he will not have any more rebirths. This much I know about Narendra and maybe Ravi Shankar should be able to say.
Ravi Shankar, would you like to add?
Yeah, no, in fact, I've heard a few things which I didn't know at all about his passing away and cremation and all that. So nice. But he was a great man. He was a great man.
In fact, his son and me, we did CA together, Bharat and myself.
Oh, okay. Interesting. All I can say is every one of you, the customization, just like the tailoring that one does, Swami tailor makes everything,
Yeah.
which is where Brother Ravi Shankar rightly said.
Yeah.
Is unique.
I want to add here that he has made this speech also a very well tailor-made speech.
Absolutely. It's got, as I said, it's a perfect professor who makes sure the entire syllabus gets covered in one talk.
Yes, exactly.
Tick, 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 tick. Syllabus covered.
Very meticulous. Very meticulous.
That's an art and that's meticulous. So much to learn. Humble. One more thing that I do have to share with hearing most of you. See, some of us just, with one Pada Namaskar or I did this, I did that. We all tend to, extol on the experience or try to talk about it, glorify it. But I think in the silence, is where the real fragrance can also be felt. I do not know what silence and fragrance is, but I see that in all of you. The experiences are personal. I am so happy that through this, all this is getting recorded. It's for the future generation. I keep saying we are working with a team of youngsters to try and get what I
In
call,
fact, Venkat,
yeah.
Venkat, in fact, it is this sentence of mine which made my brother Ravi Shankar come and participate in the Satsangh. And I told that no, this will get documented, which otherwise will not get known to anybody
Absolutely.
after us.
Absolutely.
So you have done a great job that way. You
No,
continuing to do a great job.
nothing. Sorry. Nothing. I just have the Zoom account link. It's the alumni. It's you all who come.
I know.
I'm just
Swami, you doing it.
Yeah, so I'm a Zoom linker provider every week, and it's become part of my DNA. I do not know what else I will do on a Saturday evening, but for this, it continues. Next week, we have yet another interesting person talking. It's going to be musical as well. Do join in. I know who it is. I'm waiting to, I'm waiting to share the details shortly. It will be the same time. In the meanwhile, Thukaram sir, so very grateful. Thank you, Pawan. Pawan, I have to say,
Yeah. 2 minutes.
yes, Pawan, bolo.
I would like to thank Sri Thukaram sir, who has taken out his busy schedule time to address all of us. And as a Brindavan 97 batch, we all cherish and we all have studied under him. And he has taught us costing in our BCom days. And I'm sure, like without his guidance and without his values, moral values which he has installed in all of us, we would have not reached these heights. That is one thing. And as also Thukaram sir has pointed out, the many experiences of him, like it is a living exemplary, very humble, very humble. Even today, when I asked him, sir, we need to speak via Zoom call, he said, Pawan, I don't have a smartphone. And that shows his the kind of humility. And he says that what is the need. I always this is what Swami has taught: simple living, high thinking. And this is where I think he has followed even today. So I think that without this, no better words I can explain. Is a living exemplary of what Swami's teachings is following. And he has not even opted for the pension plan what he was telling earlier, which is a kind of a very eye opener. Who will think that I don't want a pension after retirement? I think this is a great eye opener to be here. I'm very thankful to Swami that he taught us, and very happy. And sir, Thukaram sir, on behalf of Brindavan 97, I hope we all will be noting few names: Sajan Tiwari, Chiran
Chiran
Basnet,
Basnet.
and so Vishnu Vardhan. I think you will be knowing these names very well. So all of us wanted to thank you, and then we all thank you, sir, from our batch.
In fact, from the batch, we have Dr. Satyeshwar and Muthukumar also present today. We had Srinivasan also joined us, but I don't see him now. So it was wonderful to see so many BVN 97s also come and participate for the love and respect we all have for you, sir.
Thank you, Swami, for the grace every week. Keeps us going. And alumni, so very grateful to all of you connecting. Bring them on. Let's with the with the experiences coming, we have our lessons that help us. I would say Swami is doing a fine carving, not a massive automated sculpture. It needs a chiseling, and we love this chiseling that happens every week. Something gets chiseled to perfect it, and he's a master chiseler.
Venkatraman and brother Hariharan started this.
Yeah, brother Hari is not in today, but yes, nothing to take credit on that. It's all you. So let's pray for everyone. COVID, here you come. It has at least helped us instill the faith harder in connecting with Swami every moment. I'm trying to do that in a little way. I'm sure each one of us is using what we learn in a little manner to change that small deficiency that could be hindering us. But this will help us move forward. So very thankful. And let's finish with Samasta Lokas. Looking forward to seeing all of you next Sunday. Sai Ram to you. I've got to mute all and then do Samasta.
Thank you, Sai Ram.
Just 1 second, I'll mute all and then start Samasta Loka, please. Or please mute yourself.
Thank you, Sai Ram.
Yes, Sai Ram, sir. Sai Ram, sir. Just 1 second, I'll just mute and finish with Samasta Lokas. Samasta Loka Sukino Bhavantu. 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 Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Jai Bolo Bhagwan Shri Satya Sai Baba Ji ki
Jai.
Sai Ram. Looking forward to seeing
Sai
you.
Ram, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Thukaram, sir. So very happy. Thank you, Sai Ram.
Thank you, Thukaram, sir. Thank you, brother. Sai Ram.
Sai Ram.